Once upon a time, in a busy and lively village in Enugu, there lived two young lovers named Mark and Hilda. They were known by everyone in the village because of the way they loved each other. If you saw Hilda, you would see Mark. If you saw Mark, you would see Hilda. They were always together, smiling, laughing, and helping each other. Mark and Hilda had been dating for many years. Their love was strong like the roots of a big tree, and everyone believed they were meant to be together forever. Both their parents loved their relationship. Hilda's mother often said, "Mark is a good boy, and I know he will take care of my daughter." Mark's father also said, "Hilda is kind and respectful. She will make a good wife for my son." Even children in the village talked about them. "Uncle Mark and Auntie Hilda are going to marry soon," a little girl shouted while skipping rope. "Yes, they love each other too much," another boy replied, smiling. But Mark didn't have much money. He worked hard on his small farm, but it didn't bring in plenty of money. He couldn't buy fancy clothes or expensive gifts for Hilda. Yet, Hilda didn't mind at all. She was happy with him just the way he was. She never complained. "I don't need plenty money to love you, Mark," she would often say, holding his hand. "One day, you will make it big, and we will have everything we need." Hilda's siblings didn't understand her. Sometimes they laughed at her. "Why are you wasting your beauty on a broke boy?" her younger brother teased. "Yes, so," her sister added. "Other girls are enjoying soft life. You're here carrying love on your head." But Hilda would just smile and say softly, "My man will make it one day." She believed in Mark with all her heart. Hilda was a very beautiful girl. Her skin shone like honey in the sun, and her eyes sparkled when she laughed. Many men from other villages came to ask for her hand in marriage. Some were rich, others were famous, and a few even promised to take her to the city. But Hilda said no to all of them. "I already have someone," she would say politely. "Thank you, but I am not interested." Some men would get angry. "You're saying no because of that poor Mark," one of them asked one day. "You're too pretty for a poor man." But Hilda didn't care. She loved Mark too much to leave him. As time passed, things became harder. Mark tried to get jobs, but nothing good came his way. He was sad, but he always tried to smile for Hilda. One evening, after dinner, Hilda sat quietly in her room. She was thinking. She looked at her small purse, then at her mother's big bag that was lying on the bed. Her heart started beating fast. "I don't want to lose Mark," she whispered to herself. "He needs a chance. Maybe, if he goes to the city to meet his elder brother, he can find something better." She stood up slowly, tiptoed to her mother's bag, and opened it. She looked around to make sure no one was watching. Then she took some money from the bag, closed it, and hid the money in her own purse. Early the next morning, she ran to Mark's house. "Mark," she called, breathing fast. Mark came out surprised. "Hilda, what's wrong?" She looked into his eyes and held out the money. "Take this. Go to the city. Meet your elder brother. Look for something good to do. Make money. Then come back for me." Mark stepped back, shocked. "Where did you get this money?" Hilda looked down and whispered, "I took it from my mother's purse. I'm sorry, but I had to. I can't let you waste away in this village. I believe in you." Mark's eyes became wet. He didn't know what to say. "Hilda, you did this for me?" "Yes," she replied. "I love you, and I know you will make it." Mark held her hand tightly. "I won't forget this. I promise to make you proud." And just like that, a new journey was about to begin. Hilda held Mark's hands and looked deep into his eyes. Her voice was soft and full of love. "Mark, don't worry. I will keep myself for you. I won't let any man take me away from you. Just promise me you will come back safely." Mark hugged her tightly. "Hilda, I won't forget what you just did for me. I mean it. You gave me money just so I can chase my dream. Who does that? You are truly special." But as he held her, his smile slowly faded. His face changed, and his voice became a little shaky. "Hilda, won't your mom find out that you took her money?" Hilda smiled gently and shook her head. "Don't worry, Mark. My mom is very forgetful. She might not even know someone touched her money. And even if she notices, I will handle it. It's not a big deal. Mark was still worried, but Hilda looked so calm and sure. He didn't want to argue with her. She had done so much for him already. After a while, Hilda looked at the sky. The sun was already coming out. I need to go back home, she said, brushing her long braids behind her ears. I still have chores to do. Mark nodded. Okay. Thank you again, Hilda. You have changed my life. She smiled. Just don't forget me, Mark. That's all I ask. I won't, he said quickly. Never. Hilda turned and began walking home. Her heart was full of mixed feelings, love, worry, and hope. She whispered to herself, I love Mark so much. He is too good to be poor. I will do anything to help him succeed. She knew that many girls would never do what she had just done, but she was different. Her love for Mark was strong and real. Mark watched her as she left. Then he went back home, feeling happy but also nervous. He had always wanted to travel to the city, but he never had enough money. This money Hilda gave him was like a miracle. It felt like his dream was finally coming true. He quickly picked up his small bag and began to wash some clothes. While washing, he smiled to himself. I will make it. I must make it. After washing, he wiped his hands and picked up his small phone. He dialed his brother's number. The phone rang 2 times before his brother answered. Hello, Mark, his brother said happily. Brother, good evening. I'm calling to tell you something. I'm coming to the city tomorrow. Really? His brother asked, surprised. That's great news. What changed? I have money now, Mark said, smiling. A friend helped me. Oh, thank God. Come quickly. Things are not easy, but we will manage. You'll start something here. After the call, Mark ran to tell his parents. His father, a slim, tall man with a kind face, smiled widely. My son is going to the city, he said proudly. This is your time. Go and shine. His mother wiped her eyes with her wrapper. I will miss you, Mark, but I'm happy. God will bless your journey. That night, Mark couldn't sleep well. He kept thinking about the city, about Hilda, and about the future. The next morning came fast. The birds sang sweet songs as the sun rose. Mark dressed in his clean shirt and jeans. He carried his small bag and walked to Hilda's house. Hilda was already waiting outside. When she saw him, her face lit up like sunshine. You're really going, she said, her voice breaking a little. Yes, Mark replied. It's time. She ran and hugged him tightly. I don't want to let you go. I will miss you, Mark. I will miss you too, Hilda, Mark said, holding her close. She looked at him, eyes shining. Please, I've done everything to show you I love you. Don't forget me. Don't put me to shame. I won't, Mark promised. I will come back and do the needful. Hilda stepped back slowly. Mark turned to leave, but as he walked away, he kept looking back. He waved at her, and she waved back. He was smiling. She tried to smile too, but her eyes were wet. She wanted to cry, but she held it in. As he disappeared down the road, Hilda whispered a prayer. God, please keep Mark safe. Let him succeed. Let him come back to me. Then she turned and went back inside her house, holding on to hope. When Mark reached the city, his eyes opened wide like a baby seeing bright lights for the first time. The city was full of beautiful things, big cars, tall buildings that touched the clouds, bright lights shining everywhere, and people walking fast like they were all in a hurry. Wow, Mark said to himself, looking out of the bus window. This place is nothing like the village. Soon, the bus stopped at the park, and Mark stepped down with his small bag. He looked around, confused. The city was noisy. Horns were blowing. People were shouting. Music was playing from different corners, and the air smelled like roasted meat and car smoke. Just then, he saw a tall man waving at him. It was his elder brother. Mark, the man shouted. Brother. Mark smiled and ran to him. They hugged tightly like 2 long-lost friends. You've grown, his brother said, patting his back. You too, Mark laughed. I can't believe I'm finally in the city. His brother picked up his bag, and they both entered a small bus to go home. On the way, Mark kept looking through the window, his mouth open in surprise. Is this still Nigeria? He whispered. When they got to his brother's area, things started to change. The tall buildings were gone. The roads became dusty and rough. The houses looked old and broken. Mark looked around, confused. He thought they had entered the wrong place. Finally, they stopped in front of a small old house. It had cracks on the wall and the roof looked like it could fall any time. The area smelled like smoke and wet clothes. Children ran around half-dressed, and women shouted from corner to corner. Is this where you live, brother? Mark asked softly. His brother nodded. Yes. Welcome to my home. Mark tried to smile, but it didn't reach his eyes. In the village, their family house was old, but it was clean and white. This place looked worse. His brother noticed the look on his face and gave a small laugh. I know what you're thinking. This is not what you expected, right? Mark didn't answer. Don't worry, his brother said. With time, you'll get used to it. I've been managing here for 10 years now. The cost of living is high in the city, but we survive. That's the most important thing. Mark nodded slowly. Okay. That night, as he lay on the thin mattress on the floor, Mark stared at the dark ceiling. He could hear people talking loudly outside, music playing, and a baby crying. But inside his heart, he made a decision. I will not stay in this kind of place forever, he whispered. I'm here to change my life. I must make it big time. The next morning, he called Hilda. As soon as she heard his voice, she screamed happily, Mark, how are you? How's the city? Mark laughed. Hilda, the city is so beautiful. There are cars everywhere. Big houses too. You will love it here. I'm so happy for you, Hilda said, smiling even though he couldn't see her. Please don't forget what I told you. I'm waiting for you. I won't forget, Mark said. I promise. I will make you proud. Just keep praying for me. I will, Mark, every day. After the call, Hilda felt warm inside. She smiled to herself, even as she washed plates outside the house. She missed Mark, but she knew he was on the right path. Back in the village, the news of Mark's journey to the city spread fast. People gathered at the market and in front of their houses, talking about it. Did you hear? Mark is now in the city, one woman said. God will bless him. He's a good boy, another replied. Some people were happy for Hilda. They praised her for believing in love. That girl is wise. She saw the future in Mark, an old man said. But not everyone was hopeful. Some felt sorry for Hilda. City boys change, one woman whispered. I just pray Mark remembers her. She gave him money and sent him to the city. What if he forgets her? Another added. But Hilda didn't listen to them. She believed in her man. She prayed for him every morning and night. Her love was strong, and she hoped Mark would prove the doubters wrong. Mark woke up very early every morning. He would brush his teeth, wear his simple shirt and trousers, and walk out into the streets of the city in search of work. Today might be my lucky day, he always said to himself with hope. But things were not easy. Every office he went to would say, we're not hiring now. Some would not even let him in. They would just shake their heads or wave him away. Still, Mark didn't give up. Some days, he found people working at a building site, men carrying sand, blocks, and cement. He would go there and ask, can I help? Sometimes the site manager would say yes, and Mark would carry heavy loads and clean the area just to earn small money. At the end of the day, they would give him something little enough to eat and buy soap or a recharge card. But when Mark came back home tired and sweating, his brother was always lying on the bed, watching movies or pressing his phone. Brother, you didn't go out today? Mark would ask. His brother would stretch and say, no need, I'm working on something. Just relax. One day, Mark sat beside him, looking serious. Brother, I've been here for 8 months now. If not for the small jobs I do at the site, how would I eat? His brother didn't answer. Be honest with me, Mark said. How do you feed? You don't work. You don't go out. But you always have food, clothes, and data. The brother smiled, picked up his phone, and opened his bank app. He turned the screen to Mark. Mark's eyes became wide like a round plate. The money in the account was plenty more than he had ever seen. Brother, you don't work. How come you have such money? Are you into fraud? He asked, shocked. His brother's smile faded a little, but he still looked calm. "This same question," he said slowly, "is the reason I've been living in this small, dirty house for years. I didn't want people asking me how I got my money. That's also why I stopped sending money to the village. People talk too much." Mark was silent, still surprised. "But don't worry," his brother continued. "With time, I'll teach you what to do." Mark didn't know what to think. He wanted money, yes, but he also wanted to make it in a clean and honest way. Meanwhile, back in the village, Hilda was having her own struggles. Many men were coming to her house to ask for her hand in marriage. Some were rich farmers, some were teachers, and others were business owners from other villages. But Hilda turned all of them down. "I'm waiting for Mark," she would say politely. "But it's been weeks since you heard from him," one of the suitors said. "How do you know he hasn't forgotten you?" "He told me his phone is bad," she replied. "He'll call me when he can." Each morning and evening, Hilda would kneel beside her bed to pray. "Dear God, please help Mark. Don't let him forget me. Let him succeed and come back home." One afternoon, her elder sister came into the room and stood by the door. "Hilda," she began, "almost all your friends are married. Some already have children. You are still young and beautiful. Why won't you settle down?" Hilda looked up from where she was folding her clothes. "I'm waiting for Mark." Her sister sighed and sat beside her. "Listen to me. Mark is a man. He can marry anytime, even when he's 40. But you are a woman. You're in your prime. There will come a day when Mark might look at you and say, 'You are too old for me now.'" Hilda looked down. Her heart hurt, but she didn't speak. "Don't you think he might have moved on already?" Her sister added, "This thing you call true love, does it still exist?" Hilda kept quiet for a moment. Then she looked at her sister and said softly, "Don't worry, Mark will come back to me." Later that night, as she lay in bed, she whispered to herself, "Even though I haven't heard from him in weeks, I know he hasn't dumped me. He will surely come back." She closed her eyes, smiled faintly, and held on to hope. It had been over 2 years since Mark left the village for the city. 2 whole years. Hilda could count how many times she had heard from him. Once in a while, he would call her. Sometimes it would be after 3 months, sometimes even more. The calls were always short because his phone would be bad, or his data would finish quickly. But one day, something surprising happened. Hilda was sweeping her compound early in the morning when her small phone rang. She looked at the screen and her heart jumped. It was Mark. She quickly picked up. "Hello, Mark, is that you?" "Yes, it's me." Mark's voice came from the other side. Hilda smiled and sat down on a low stool. "Oh, Mark, I've missed you so much. Are you okay?" "I'm managing, Hilda," he said quietly. "I know it's been long. I'm sorry. Things are not easy over here." "I understand," she replied softly, "as long as you're alive and okay." Then Mark cleared his throat. "Hilda, I sent you 100,000 naira. Please check your account. Use the money to settle your bills." Hilda's eyes widened. 100,000. Are you serious?" "Yes," Mark said, "but please, don't tell anyone I sent you money. Keep it between us. Don't worry, I'll come back to you soon." Tears filled Hilda's eyes, but she wiped them away quickly. "Thank you, Mark. God bless you. I won't tell anyone. I promise." After the call ended, Hilda sat still for a while. She didn't know how to feel. She hadn't heard from Mark for months, but he still remembered her. He still cared. He still sent money. Her heart was full of joy. With the money, Hilda made a decision. She didn't want to keep sitting at home and waiting. She wanted to do something with her life. She wanted to be useful. So she used part of the money to rent a small wooden kiosk near the market square. Then she traveled to the nearby town and bought some children's clothes, shirts, dresses, shoes, and socks. She came back and arranged everything nicely inside her small shop. "Children's wear available here," she wrote on a white paper and pasted it on the front of her kiosk. At first, she didn't sell much, but after a few days, mothers from the village started coming to buy small things. "This dress is fine. How much is it?" one woman asked. "Just 1,200 naira, ma," Hilda replied with a smile. "Give me 2. Little by little, Hilda started making small money. Every week, She would save some and use the rest to buy more goods. People began to notice her hard work. They saw that she didn't fold her hands waiting for a man. She was doing something for herself. She's smart, one woman said at the village stream. Very wise girl, another replied. She's not wasting her youth. Some even said, I wish my daughter could be like Hilda. One day, a man came to her kiosk and looked around. Then he cleared his throat. My son is looking for a good wife. He just came back from abroad. I see how you work hard. Would you be interested in meeting him? Hilda smiled politely and said, Thank you, sir, but I'm already with someone. Another day, an old woman came with her son and said, Please, my son is ready to marry. We've seen the way you behave. You're respectful and hardworking. We would love to have you in our family. Hilda thanked them too and said no gently. Even though Mark didn't call often, and even though he hadn't come back yet, Hilda believed in him. She believed in their love. She was not ready to give up. Every night, she knelt beside her small bed and prayed, God, please bless Mark wherever he is. Let him be safe. Let him not forget me. She worked hard during the day, prayed hard at night, and kept hope in her heart. And slowly, she started earning more respect from the people in the village, not just because she was waiting for Mark, but because she was becoming a strong and independent woman. One quiet evening, just as the sun was going down and the sky turned orange, Hilda's mother called her into the sitting room. Hilda, my daughter. Her mother began gently, Come and sit beside me. I want to talk to you. Hilda walked in slowly and sat on the wooden chair close to her mother. She looked at her with soft eyes, knowing her mother had something serious to say. Hilda, Mama continued. It's been 3 years since Mark left this village. 3 whole years. A reasonable man would have come back by now, even if things are not going well for him. He should at least come and do a small thing on your head. Then he can go back to the city. Hilda sighed deeply. She knew her mother was right. She had thought about it many times too. Mark had not visited in 3 years, and the village people were beginning to talk more. But she still believed in him. Mama, don't worry, Hilda said softly. If Mark doesn't come back this year, I will marry someone else. But for now, let's just keep being hopeful. Mark is still the man of my dreams. Her mother looked at her for a moment, then nodded slowly. Okay, my daughter, I just want you to be happy. A few days later, Hilda was arranging children's clothes in her kiosk when her phone rang. She looked at the screen. It was a strange number. Hello? She answered. Hilda. It's me. It's Mark. Her heart skipped a beat. Mark? Is this really you? Yes, he replied in a tired voice. I've missed you, but things have been very hard. Hilda held her breath. She could hear the sadness in his voice. I've been on the run for months, Mark said quietly. Please, don't tell anyone this. My brother did something bad. The police have been after us, but I'm fine now. Hilda's eyes widened in shock. Mark, what happened? Are you okay? Where are you now? I'm okay, Hilda, but I need to tell you something important, he said slowly. I'm listening, she said, heart pounding. I just sent you 500,000 naira, Mark said. What? Hilda gasped. That's a lot of money. Yes, Mark continued. But Hilda, I'm sorry. I'm not coming back anytime soon. I'm working on something big, and once it works, I'll be traveling out of the country. Hilda's hands began to shake. I know this is hard for you, but please, don't wait for me anymore, Mark said gently. Use the money I sent and do the needful. Start something good for yourself. If you ever need anything, you can call me. But please, follow your people's advice. Marry someone else. Hilda sat frozen. They love me for you only because they know you're not ready to let go, he added. But now, you're free. You can move on. Once I leave the country, I won't be back for at least 10 years. The phone slipped from Hilda's hand and dropped to the ground. Her mouth opened wide in pain. Then she let out a loud scream. No woo! She began crying, loud and heavy. She cried like a baby, tears falling like rain from her eyes. Her mother, Hilda, what is it? What happened? She shouted, holding her daughter close. Hilda couldn't speak at first. She held her chest and kept crying. Mama, he broke up with me. Mark, just ended everything, she finally said in a shaky voice. Her mother gasped and sat down beside her. She was also shocked. After all these years? Hilda nodded slowly, tears still running down her cheeks. Her mother pulled her into a tight hug. My daughter, I know your heart is broken, but you must get hold of yourself. Everything will be fine. Hilda sniffed and wiped her nose. Listen to me, Mama said kindly. Thank God you are just 28. You're still young, beautiful, and full of ideas. There is no good man who won't be happy to have you as his wife. Don't let this destroy you. Hilda nodded slowly, still too hurt to speak. Her mother rubbed her back gently. Cry, my daughter, let it all out. But don't stay down. You will rise again. That evening, after the painful phone call from Mark, Hilda closed her kiosk. She didn't say much. Her mother held her hand gently as they walked home in silence. Hilda's eyes were red and swollen from crying. Every step felt heavy, like she was carrying a load on her back. When they got home, Hilda sat on the floor in her room and cried again. Her mother sat beside her and held her close. It's okay to cry, Mama whispered, but you won't cry forever. Hilda didn't reply. Her heart was in pieces, but inside her, she made a quiet promise. I will rise above this dusk. I will not stay broken forever. For one whole week, Hilda didn't open her kiosk. People came to check on her, but she didn't come out. She needed time to heal. Then, one Monday morning, Hilda woke up early. She looked in the mirror, wiped her face, and tied her hair in a neat bun. She wore her clean dress and stepped out with her chin up. She opened her kiosk again. The villagers were surprised but happy to see her back. She smiled at them and said, I'm fine. Thank you all. That week, she took a big step. She went to the nearest town and bought many new clothes, beautiful, trendy outfits for children and even adults. She used part of the money Mark had sent her to grow her business. I don't want to stay broken, she said to herself. I want to move forward. Soon, her shop became even more popular. More customers came, and she was making good sales. People admired her strength. Some women whispered, Hilda is a strong woman. Others said, she didn't let heartbreak stop her. Look at her now. Months passed. One sunny afternoon, a young man knocked on her door. It was Samuel, the same man who had been asking her out for years. He was wearing a clean shirt and carried a small gift bag. Good afternoon, Hilda, he said with a smile. Good afternoon, Samuel, she replied, surprised to see him again. He sat down and looked at her kindly. Hilda, I have come again. I still want to be your husband. I've loved you for a long time. I know your heart was broken, but I promise to take care of you and make you smile again. Hilda looked at him. Samuel was not rich. He was just a bus driver, but he was kind, respectful, and always honest. He had been patient all these years. She thought about it for a while, then smiled softly. Samuel, she said, I'm ready to move on. I say yes. Samuel's face lit up with joy. Thank you, Hilda. You won't regret this. Though Hilda had more money than Samuel, she didn't care. She was humble and kind. She was ready to love again and be happy. Samuel often visited her with little gift snacks, fruits, a pretty scarf, or even new wrappers for her mother. The villagers began praising her even more. Hilda is brave, they said. She has turned her pain into power. Then, the special day came. Samuel was ready to pay Hilda's bride price. The entire village was buzzing with excitement. Everyone came out, young and old. Women cooked, men arranged chairs, children played and danced. Hilda wore a lovely traditional dress. Her face glowed with beauty. She carried a glass of palm wine in her hands. According to tradition, she would walk around and give the wine to the man she had chosen as her husband. Drums were beating, people were clapping, and smiles were everywhere. Hilda walked slowly, holding the wine, looking for Samuel in the crowd. But just as she was about to hand the wine to him, something happened. She looked up and there he was, Mark, standing right there. Her heart skipped a beat. Everyone turned and looked. The crowd became silent. Mark's eyes were filled with tears. He looked tired, But he had come. The glass of wine fell from Hilda's hand and broke on the floor. She ran straight to him and hugged him tightly, crying. It was like a dream. I'm sorry, Hilda, Mark said, going down on one knee. He pulled out a shining ring. Please, marry me. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe for part 2. More love, more pain, more faith is coming. Thank you for your support.